deepest.
Whoop whoop! Leafs win Game 1 of Battle of Ontario to start your Stanley Cup playoffs. Welcome back. We're live on Split the Defense, Leafs post-game, presented by LaForest Electrical Contractors, serving Kingston and the surrounding area since 2004. I'm Jordan Webster with Craig Pearce, here to talk about everything Game 1 against the Ottawa Senators. What a game. You know, they couldn't score last year, not a problem this year. You got to tell me, though, CP, so much happened tonight, so many topics that we have to cover. What is the hot topic tonight? What do you want to talk about first?
I mean, the hottest topic is just how many power plays there were. I was going to say if I was an Ottawa Senators fan, but I've been listening to some Ottawa Senators fans, and they are blaming the refs big time. They're calling. Do you still hear the music? I still have the music playing in my ears. But yeah, that's the hot topic as far as what Sens fans are concerned. But for me, it's we're on the board, we're scoring, it feels good. Like everyone's scoring too, and but power play. That was the key tonight.
Well, the power play came up absolutely huge. We had, how did it start? It was Nylander's power play goal. He gets like 3 seconds of power play time, snipes it. Johnny T makes it 3-1. That was the first one on the power play tonight. And then Nye's got a power play, which was like another 12 seconds into the power play to make it 6-2. That was right after a huge blocked shot as well that I thought broke his hand, possibly. But that's another time. Power play is hot. Hot, hot, hot. They scored more power play goals in 28 minutes against the Sens than they managed in the entire first round series against Boston last spring.
Jeez, wow, that's insane. Coming in hot with the stats. That's insane. Wow.
Need the power play to be good, and they were 3 for 5, I believe, tonight. It was everything you want from this Leafs team, and the big part of their success this season was the power play, so it's nice to see it clicking.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even the power play itself, I think it was refreshing just not to see the same thing over and over. I mean, that was just a power play that was, firing on all cylinders. I mean, when you get 6 opportunities, you I guess getting 3, that's 50% is pretty good, but you expect to get something on the board if you get 6 of them. So yeah, I actually, the team, and it's hard to really judge this game, to be honest, because I feel like a lot of the Leafs success does come from that power play and just how they, even just the 5-on-5, you gain momentum from having power play chances, right? So I would wonder what this game looks like just in a different scope without the power play, but that's kind of the one thing where I'm not getting too excited is we didn't dominate 5-on-5, that's for sure. So definitely was key to the victory, I think.
Well, I mean, we had 3 goals 5-on-5, didn't we? And 3 power play goals, so
yeah,
can't complain. Still outscored the Sens 5-on-5, even if they scored at all situations. So no complaints there. A lot of that in due to Linus Ullmark. Playoff Ullmark showing well, huh? He allowed 2 goals on 3 shots. And then after 10 shots faced, he was at 4 goals allowed. The crowd certainly let him know it as well. They gave him the Ullmark. And I am here for it.
Yeah, okay. So I heard that one, but they were chanting something, "You suck," as well.
Brady sucks. You didn't hear that?
Brady,
yeah.
Oh my god. So all game,
Brady
my
sucks.
Fiance, we're just looking at each other what is she saying? What are they saying? And she kept saying, "What's the goalie's name again?" I'm like, Linus Ullmark. That's not what they're saying. Brady sucks. Okay, yeah, that makes totally sense. But I mean, the fans were just awesome tonight, just from the very start throughout. Even when you get into I mean, I guess when it's going your way, it's easy to stay in it, but all the way through, I thought that great crowd there tonight. I mean, when the tickets are that expensive, you never really know who's going to be in the building. So I know it's playoffs, but I'm always a little nervous of what the Leaf fans are going to provide. But just, yeah, good turnout from the fans for sure.
They brought it tonight.
Yeah.
Absolutely brought it tonight. I love the Brady sucks chants just because it's, the whole unity and against the Sens. Battle of Ontario. Was it ever a Battle of Ontario? So physical tonight. Like the end of the game, they just threw off 2 whole lines. They're just like, yeah, you sit down and you sit down. Everybody that was on the ice is no longer playing this game. And then the next people that came out, they're like, we don't care. We're going to fuck around too. Like Holmberg gets hit in the end, and then there's the fight. Tanev's taking punches off the face. Like this series is going to be fire.
Yeah, I mean, right off the hop, I was pretty encouraged because the Leafs led the first period with hits. Like they came out and were very physical. As the game went on, like I just couldn't believe how physical it remained to be the entire way through. Like I think there was like 80 recorded hits or something tonight. It's insane. And for
there was 20 for each team after the first period.
Right. And also just like for it went off the chain a little at the end, but not like out of control, like that's where I can get behind like that type of an ending. Like everyone's trying to get their piece in, but I don't think there's any like suspension coming from that. Just a lot of like, bad blood coming into the next game. And I mean, I'm here for it. It was amazing. I mean, and it's like you can tell that just like the Leafs are bought into it. I feel like years prior there would be, you'd see a lot of guys running away from those scrums, but this team, like we run into those scrums. Even like a guy like Tanev, he doesn't like physical play, but playoff game when it matters, like he'll go in there, he'll take his hits, like
he's
Benoit too. Just as soon as those things happen, he's just like salivating at the mouth to get in there. So yeah, just I love this team just fully bought into the physical play and the scrums.
You watch next game. Chris Tanev is going to drive Shane Pinto into the boards.
Yeah.
He's going to absolutely obliterate him because he took some punches at the end of the game that he did not get retribution for. And they're going to see them at least 3 more times. There definitely will be some revenge coming back and forth. It may calm down, but it's not going to calm down next game.
Honestly, though, like Tanev is a guy that I'm not sure there will be like retribution. Like he doesn't.
I think he'll get his
kind
lick
of a
in.
Guy. Like he's a guy that like just isn't afraid to take it. Like
I don't think he's going to go out and fight him, but I definitely think he's got his number. He's going to give him one if he gets the chance.
Sure, yeah. If he gets his chance, I think anyone,
a little bit extra on that one.
I don't think he's a guy though that like holds a grudge of anyone. He's just out there. He doesn't mind taking some to the face. He's tough as nails. So maybe he
Looked
does.
To me like he was seeing red.
Yeah. I was actually, seeing red, but not like going over the top. Like, he had his chance to go back in there and get his lick, and he decided not to. So, a bit of a veteran play, I think, there, just to not escalate it too far. Like, yeah, like he said, if he wants to, he'll get his chance. We got at least 3 more of these games. So,
how about our boy Mitch Marner, the new Mitch Marner, the one that came back from 4 Nations looking like a different man, looking like a man, playing like a man, showing up in game 1. Mitch Marner didn't have a multi-point game in the 2024 playoffs. He already had one before the 25-minute mark this year. Last year, he had 3 points in 7 games. This year, 3 points in game 1. He might even have more after the end.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how many he had. I thought it was 3, but I wasn't even sure if it may have been 4. But yeah, he had a game. Like I said, like 5-on-5, like not anybody in the later part of the game was super noticeable, but it turns into a different game once you're leading by that amount. So yeah, but I thought he was as Marner as you would expect, and for it to be in a playoff game, he's just continuing, his success of this year. Yeah, what can you say bad about him? Is nothing. He brought it even in the physical moments. Like he's always going to be a guy that avoids a check. It's a great skill that he has, is avoiding checks. But isn't afraid to, like, it's different, I think, than like maybe not like crazy difference from last year, but 2 or 3 year ago, like you would see him avoid every type of moment where he's getting into the boards, getting into a scrum. Like that's not him anymore. That narrative just should be gone. Like I think that he's going to prove that like he will not be the reason this team isn't successful. And I think he's just he is who he is. You know, I think he's just settling into not caring about other people and playing his game. He's got confidence. Yeah, like Marner's like a guy on this team. I just like he needs to stay here too. Like not to get past ourselves, but need to keep this guy. He's unreal.
Will he sign a contract mid playoffs?
No, not a chance.
No.
No. Honestly, like if I was him, I would just be curious. Like at this point, even if he wanted to stay with the Leafs, like 100%, I'd at least want to see like, I don't know, what's Columbus just even want to like ask, you know, like what's another team just going to throw my way? I want to at least have that number in my head, like for when I retire to be like, well, at one point they were willing to give me this much. So yeah, no, I don't think he signs.
So Ridley Gregg.
Oh,
It's a familiar name.
yeah.
Ridley Gregg had a nice cross check to John Tavares' head beginning of the game somewhat. And it was called a 5. It was a cross check to the head. Should have been called a 5. Then it was reviewed because it was called a 5. And it was reduced to a 2-minute minor. Now, apparently because it hit the shoulder, it's not a cross check to the head. But didn't Riley cross-check Gregg on his shoulder and it rode up and hit him in the head and he got suspended?
I mean, do you really think they're the same play? Because they're very much
no, but
not.
like still, like fuck.
Yeah,
It's clearly a shot in the head.
I literally called it to a T what that was going to be. I was sitting on the couch. I said they're going to call this a 5 just so they can see it, and I bet you it's a 2. Like I thought it was a 2. I didn't think it was that bad. Like he reacts to being hit like a lot of players do, and it hit like pretty high on the shoulder and rode up. I think there's a case to be made that if like Tavares isn't trying to avoid it though, that it hits even higher. So, but yeah, I don't think like I thought it was called correctly. You know, I'm not really asking for more than what it was, but I like that's the one thing about the review that I do kind of like is this 5-minute you can review it. Like, you know, like I hate when they take away goals, but when it's something like this, like it kind of like because I think in the instinct for me that it was a 5, like get this guy out of the game. But then like when I watch it back, I'm like, well, like I don't think he deserves to be kicked out of the game here, but it's definitely a penalty.
All right, fair enough. we can agree on that one. So talking about Riley, the Leafs gave up 1, making it 4-2, and 35 seconds later, playoff Riley enters the chat and says, "Hold my beer, watch this." Makes it 5-2. Do you fully expect playoff Riley back again this playoffs?
Yeah, I mean,
even after his down year.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence still. I mean, that goal doesn't scream to me that like he's back and he's going to get a bunch of goals. Like that was like what it went off someone's hand and fluttered and just happened to get top corner. But
got to be lucky to be good and good to be lucky, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, that saying is true. But yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence. I'm just happy that like, you know, the defense is chipping in offensively, like especially against Ottawa. You're looking at their defense and they clearly have the best offensive defenseman, especially on like the point sheet. So just to be the team that comes out, you get a couple from your defense. Like that's just always been like about this team, and everyone's looking at the forwards and the depth forwards to provide offense, but like the defense can be part of that too. Like that's what we've been lacking as well. So yeah, like this is a game that's exactly what we've, you know, been asking for is, you know, scoring down the lineup. Not all of it should lay on the forwards. And I mean, especially like, you know, if it all laid on Matthews and Marner tonight, it probably wouldn't have gone so great. You know, like they had to be playing a lot of defensive minutes and you know, and that's just, you know, a team has to be built all the way down. So, yeah.
Yeah, and talking about scoring from the back end, playoff OEL has also arrived. He put himself in a great position to receive the pass for the first and opening goal of the Leafs Stanley Cup playoffs. It's nice to have another guy who's thinking goal on the back end.
Yeah, like OEL in general, I think is gonna be like really sneaky important. I heard a couple like radio shows and stuff kind of call him out as like being one of those, playoff performers that's gonna be really important and have like really big minutes for this team. And I really like that, call. He's really like snotty. He brings that to the team and yeah, he knows how to play offensive. His skills may not be what they were when he entered this league, but that he's definitely has that mindset still. And yeah, to go out there and just get the first goal of the season or the series is so important. Like I don't think like it's kind of like I don't know why, but it seems like the first one's always way harder. It's harder to score the first one than the second one. I'm not sure why that is, but maybe it's the whole pressure part of it. But yeah, just to go out there and walk down the middle, take your shot, perfect. OEL is going to be great.
And it's nice to have another guy who's not, Marner gets one, Nylander gets one, Tavares gets one, Riley gets one, but it's nice to have another guy who's not one of those guys that can score goals. That's like, just chipping in. We got Nyes now too, but I just he's counted in the top. Like he's one of the core pieces who's expected to score. And OEL's just really not a guy who's always expected to put it in the back of the net. And it's just nice to get a couple. I hopefully that this is like his prime time and this is where he shows, because he scored 10 goals last year and he did not score like that this year in Toronto.
No, I mean, I also didn't expect him to. When like we signed him, I didn't expect him to be 10 goals. Like, I don't know. I thought he was going to be a good player though. I mean, in like just to, I don't know, let's pivot off him and move on to just Carlo on this. Like I felt that Brandon Carlo had a really bad moment on the first goal. I mean, the first goal ends up being kind of Stoller's, fault in the end, but just to see the rest of Carlos play the rest of the game and remembering playing against him, it just is so nice to have him as an addition as well. Just he brings so much quiet minutes that you don't necessarily see, but the box outs, the board play, I mean, he's and just being a massive body, like a guy that you put out there at the very end of the game, and also not a guy that's looking to be nasty, but isn't afraid to be in those scrums and goes in there and it's almost always the biggest guy in the scrum. So yeah, even shout out to Brandon Carlo.
He's huge. And you know how nice it is to be able to, like, there was a lot of times tonight where shit didn't work out and they had to throw it back. And there's been plenty of times where the Leafs, A, had a guy on his wrong hand back there trying to scramble to collect that puck in a scrambling moment, or B, had Timothy Liljegren. And both of those options were not, solid. You have mistakes, you had problems. There was several times tonight they just tossed it back, it lands on Carlos' stick, he moves it up the ice. There was no fucking around, perfect pass. It was really nice to see Brandon Carlo just go in there and be steady Freddy.
Yeah, he's always going to be one of those players that, like, I love the saying, that handles the puck like it's a grenade. It's just like, gets it, get rid of it. Like nothing fancy. Just let's get the puck. Let's move it either forward or let's get it to someone who's better than me at moving the puck. So, yeah, every team needs those guys, and he fills that role perfectly.
I 100% agree. So what else do we got to talk about in this game? Oh yeah, Stolarz. He's talked about Stolarz. So Stolarz had a little bit of a tough time early with the rebound control. I thought he cleaned it up, but you definitely noticed it. I don't know whether that was nerves or just a couple of bad bounces. Like, it's vulcanized rubber that's frozen first. It bounces. So that shit happens. It ends up allowing a goal, the first goal for the Sens because of it, but in the end, he made a whole bunch of clutch saves. He won the game, only allowed 2. He's definitely playing game 2, right?
Yeah, I agree with you. He was very shaky at the beginning, and I thought that he did settle in. Like, I'm not sure what he's thinking on that very first goal. Like, he plays it like there's no one within 10 feet of him, when in reality he's surrounded by players, and it's just not time to be that nonchalant. But like you said, it's like whether it's nerves or whatever it is, I don't see him making that play again. So yeah, get it covered, man. Like just cover the puck. But yeah, I definitely going in game two. Even when he made that play, I wasn't worried even in the slightest. Like I knew that obviously he's having nerves. First start as a playoff goalie. It's never going to be easy, regardless of how many games you have or what have you. So yeah, I was pretty confident though he was going to settle in, and he did. And yeah, I would say like why change it up at this point? Just go with the guy.
And so, what about the rest of the team? Do you see any lineup changes for game two?
Well, I mean, not gonna lie, I was pretty shocked to not see Kampf in the lineup. Don't know if that's injury related or I mean, Berube scratched him in the past. It's not like a guy that's invincible to a scratch, but yeah, that's the only one where I was a little confused. I definitely don't want to see Pacioretty put in this lineup unless we need to put him in. But yeah, I was just is Kampf going to be in there? I would prefer him over Yarncroc, I think. Even though Yarncroc, he actually played pretty well. Like he's like very fast. He was very speedy tonight. Got in on
He's
pucks.
right-handed too. We don't have a lot of those.
Yeah, like I do like him, but I think that I would prefer Camp just on that fourth line. But I mean, I'm kind of saying I want to switch up one of my favorite lines. Like I thought that the fourth line played really well. Very noticeable. Lawton chips in on a goal, gets the assist, and so I on the first one, right? And so I thought that the fourth line, like I guess you don't switch it up when it's one of your better lines, but just seems odd not to have if Camp is healthy, not to have him in the lineup just seems really weird.
So you predict probably some changes coming for game two. I don't know if you change at game two. I think maybe Camp comes game three, maybe game four.
Do you know if he's healthy?
I think he is. I as much as I know that he was ready to come back,
but...
it was a cap thing, I believe. But even Ryan Reeves is back up with the team. I can't see him playing, but he's there for pure vibes. But everybody should be, I think, there and available. As far as I know, Pacioretty will play some games. When that happens, I'm not sure. I could see him coming in for like Nick Robertson, who did get a point tonight.
Yeah, honestly, like as sad as it is, like Domi would be my scratch. As soon as they move,
doesn't even matter. Your cap doesn't even matter right now. It's like whoever's playing good. I don't care if everybody makes 800. Like if Matthews is playing like shit and somebody else is playing like like way better than Matthews at this point, it's like I don't care if he makes 845 grand. You want the best players on the ice at all times. So yeah, Domi, having a contract here and having a big money contract at that probably doesn't sway anybody's opinion right now. It's whoever can make it happen.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But Domi is that kind of presence to have on the ice. Like you saw him tonight, he's chucking shit, and you are going to need that in the Battle of Ontario.
Yeah, like I was just gonna while you were talking, I was thinking about what I'd said, and I think like if I was remaking a lineup and someone told me like your life is on the line, give me your best lineup out there. Like I'm not sure I'm putting Domi in that lineup. But coming off a win where you saw that there was a lot of physical play, a win where he's in the lineup, I'm not sure I take him out. Like I probably just roll with it. And I also get into question I just not sure where you put him, man. Because the second line wasn't good with him on their line. You put Holmberg up there and it immediately is better. But then your third line now has Domi as a centerman. Don't love it. So I don't know. It's just a tough spot. You want him between whistles, no doubt. It's just when the play is on, it's like he's in trouble. I'm honestly, it's very confusing. Just a lot of the plays he makes, it's all up in the head because he's very good. He's got a lot of skill, but just his plays in the neutral zone, plays in his D, even his he tries these really outlandish saucer passes through the neutral zone that almost never
but
work.
He gets away with a lot of them.
Yeah, but almost never work. He gets away with them not working against him, but it's just like, there's a better play, man. Like skate the puck up the middle. There's room. Like there's a lot of spots where it's just like Domi has all the skill in the world. Just the decision making is lacking, which just really sucks.
So we need to have a conversation amongst ourselves as Leafs fans here. Travis Green was interviewed after the game. He's got a quote here from Luke Fox that says, "I thought there was a couple of calls. They did a good job selling. When Tim Stützle plays on his team."
Yeah, yeah, the biggest sell job in the league.
Like holy diver himself, Timmy James Dio.
Yeah, I think that a few of those calls are soft. They're soft calls. Like I think that they're penalties. It's just like, yeah, it's right on that fine line to me of like, let him play. And I was telling a buddy of mine that's a Sens fan, he was complaining about the refs. And I was like, yeah, like what? Like there's like 2 or 3 of them are for sure penalties. There's probably 3 that are like questionable, but like we're in the first game of a series. That's probably going to be a really heated series. Like they're going to call way more in game 1 than they are in game 4.
Yeah.
So like, just like, yeah, hold on for a second. And it's also a little bit of probably inexperience, like a lot of like Tim Stützle, like they said in intermission, he had 8 hits in the second intermission. It's like, that's not his game. Like, he's just a really amped up and trying to play playoff hockey. But, it's about finding how to play your own game within playoff hockey. It's not going out there and changing your entire game. So, yeah, I don't know. They looked a little amateurish for me, for sure.
So another quote here from Travis Green. He's asked about the elephant in the room, which is goaltending, and he says he likes the goaltender, and he's probably going to continue to play him by his quote. So we're going to see Linus Ullmark again. Do you think the Leafs are going to continue to be able to pump Linus Ullmark in the Sens like that, or do you expect lower scoring games going forward like we saw last year?
Yeah, I honestly would expect a really low scoring game next game. Yeah, I think like it'd be stupid not to put Ullmark in there. I think he's their best goalie, unless they're gonna go with that rookie goalie that they have, which I honestly think that might be their best goalie. But you can't do that. Like, but there's no point in
you could against the Leafs.
Yeah, but I like just to make a smart hockey decision and not think about voodoo and all that stuff. I think you just go with the guy that you paid a lot of money that's proven he can be a good goalie. I'm not sure if Forsberg's healthy. I wouldn't go with him, but yeah, I think they should go with him. I'm happy to play against Ullmark though. That's like I'm not sure when it is. He's a great goalie, but he definitely doesn't have those like unbeatable feeling to him that like it's also just because we haven't had that experience. Like Swayman, we had a lot of it. Vasilevsky, we had a lot of it.
Yeah.
Even Bobrovsky, we had a lot of it. So, yeah.
All right. Well, we will be back on Tuesday for game 2, number 2 in Toronto. And then after that, they fly out to Ottawa to finish the series. We'll get the next 2 games of the series out there. But we'll be back after that game. I think it's a 7:30 game, the next one. So it's a little bit later. But for now, that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us on Split the Defense Leafs post game, presented by LaForest Electrical Contractors, serving the Kingston and surrounding areas since 2004. Leave us a comment, hit that like button on your way out the door, and subscribe to our YouTube if you haven't already at Split the Defense. Until next time, peace.
Follow the boys on Twitter at STDPWebby, at Craig D. Pearce, and at Ted_is